Okay, so here we are. We are going to make a chickpea curry. And I'm going to run down our ingredient list. And if you don't know me, because some of you on here are new names, some of you are very familiar names. So I'm happy to see you. I'm Julie, and I am the Wellness Director at Cancer Services. And I write cancerdietitian.com, which I think many of you have found me that way. So I'm happy to do my first virtual cooking class. I've done several cooking classes in real life and cooking videos, but this is the first sort of live, do it together cooking class. So I'm getting all of my ingredients together. So if you're cooking along with me, here's what you need. We have a zucchini, garlic, ginger, onions, a can of chickpeas, cumin, ground cumin, red pepper flakes, curry paste. So we got a green curry paste, but it's also an option that you can do a red curry paste if that's what's available to you. A can of coconut milk, reduced sodium soy sauce. Let me get that. I think someone was on, you did the webinar last week. I talked about, I have a lot of soy sauce in my house for some reason. Anyway, this is Trader Joe's version. Yeah.
Question, if you do not have curry paste, can you just use some curry powder?
You can try it. I have not tried it that way. So I'm always up for, like, you know, making do with what you have. And so
I can make the curry paste with the powder.
You want to make a paste with the powder?
Sure.
Okay, I've never done that. I have made curries. I mean, I've made curries with curry powder.
I think the curry powder should do just as well as the curry paste.
I think it could. What would I do? Chickpeas, curry paste. I would probably add the curry powder in when we're doing the sauteing.
Yep.
Which in our recipe today, we're going to add the curry paste a little bit later. So
okay.
That's just keep in mind.
Okay.
Soy sauce, lime. So what do I need? I need a zucchini and I need a lime. I think that's what I'm missing. So let me grab those out of the fridge. I actually have a yellow squash, but I'm going to use green. Okay, how many of you is anyone using grocery delivery right now?
Say what?
I was wondering if anyone's using grocery delivery right now.
Yes, I am.
Me too.
Shipped. Yes.
It's kind of been my like favorite thing. I know grocery delivery existed before COVID-19, but I never bothered using it. But oh my gosh, it's changed my life. So anyway, my point is this is a large zucchini. If I had gone to the grocery store for myself, I probably would have got one that's a little bit more like uniform size. But anyway, we're going to use this one. And then this is our lime. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, we're going to start the curry, and then we're going to make our latte while the curry is simmering. So if you're in the mode of getting ingredients out, for the latte, you need milk. You can either use, my suggestion would be a vanilla soy milk or a plain soy milk or a cow's milk because they both have equivalent amounts of protein in them. And the nice thing about a latte is that because it's milk-based, it gives you protein, which is great, especially if you want a nutritious beverage. All right, then we're gonna use vanilla extract in the latte, maple syrup, turmeric, cinnamon, and ground cloves if you have it. So I'm gonna get those out after we get the curry going. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is kind of prepare all of our vegetables. So we need to chop up our onion. We need to get our ginger out and our garlic. So I wanted to have the onion prepared ahead of time, but you know, this is real life and that didn't happen. I have a family at home where I am working and I tried to get them all out of here in plenty of time. And of course, you know, the 9-year-old came back in about 10 times
Right?
before they headed out. All right, so we're gonna do an onion. And you always wash an onion if you didn't know that. You wash it. And then this is the trick a chef showed me. So he showed me that you cut it straight through the root because you want a flat surface. The recipe calls for a small onion. I would call this a medium onion, so I'm just gonna cut half of it. But by leaving the root on, you get to keep the onion together.
That's a good size onion.
Julie, when you say wash it, do you mean wash it with the skin on it before you start cutting?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that.
I sort of scrub the skin. Oh, there's my hands. Scrub the skin off just with my hands, and then peel off the skin, and then you cut the onion.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
She goes root on the skin on, wash it with the skin on.
All right. So we got our onion, and this kind of helps keep it together. The little keeping the root on helps to keep it together. And then, so what I bought, sort of as a, I guess a cheat, I don't know, a shortcut, is I actually bought these garlic with the skin already off of them. Cut it. And I bought these at Trader Joe's before, but this one came from Lowe's Foods. They have these little packets, so I think you can see. So there's maybe, I don't know, 10 in here. I like it because the skin gets really sticky, which is sort of frustrating. You can also take a whole packet and put it in a food processor if you're trying to mince a whole bunch at a time. I find that, I mean, this was actually, I would guess the same cost as buying a whole clove of garlic that you would have to peel apart. So
Can you can sit and listen?
we're gonna do a little bit of garlic. It says 1 tablespoon. I don't measure things usually. I just see what looks good. So this is how I do my mincing. Now, if you were in my cooking class and I had the skin on the garlic, I would have crushed it. And if you watch our webinar on herbs and spices, we have a little discussion about crushing garlic or cutting it and then waiting 15 minutes. And my take home is that's too much effort for me to think about. So we're going to cut this garlic right here and use it when we're ready. And I'll have no idea how long it's been. Okay, so that's the garlic. And then we've got our zucchini we need. So 1 sliced zucchini. This one is really big. So I'm going to cut it in half. I might even cut it in quarters because it is really large. And I'm going to go ahead and use the whole thing.
She's cutting hers in 4, so I'm gonna, you want me to cut that up? That's the thing. She's cutting it.
There we go. Okay, so we're cutting all of this up. It is a lot. I might not end up using it all. We'll just see how it looks in the pan. And then what else do we need? Ginger. So let me show you my little ginger hack. So you're seeing a couple different hacks of mine. This is crushed ginger that I get from Trader Joe's. I get this in form for ginger. I get it in the same form for garlic, and some people mentioned that you can get basil the same way. It's like little tiny cubes of them. I find it very convenient because especially with ginger, I tend to like use a lot of it and then don't use it for a while, and it makes me feel bad when the root goes bad. And it's ready to just pop out and use. So we're going to use that when we get ready to saute. And I think we are ready to get cooking. Make sure I have everything. So we're going to start sauteing the zucchini, ginger, garlic, and onion together. And the way I start, let me turn my thing here. I'm going to turn it over to my pan. Got it? Okay. So what I like to do is I actually start the heat on the pan. I like to get the pan hot before I put the oil in it. So I give it a little time to get hot, and I just do this because I think I had a chef show me once. And so this is just the process I do. You don't have to do it this way. But I like to get the pan a little bit hot. Then I make sure, now if you have a non-stick pan, you don't have to use quite as much oil. I like this pan because I like a little bit of, you know, kind of crispy burn on some of the, like the zucchini tastes really good that way. So I wait until the oil gets a little bit hot. And often the best way to tell is to just, you know, like throw a little piece of onion in there. And if it doesn't make a noise or sizzle, it's not hot yet. So I usually wait until the oil gets hot, and then we'll add them in. Any questions so far?
It's sizzling.
Nope.
Nope, okay. I hear it starting to sizzle.
It's sizzling good.
I have a gas stove, but at my other house, I had an electric stove. And I know people love gas and they talk about how much they love gas stoves, but to be honest, either one was fine with me. Yes, gas is more responsive when you turn it up or down. But I had a flat range electric stove, and I actually really liked it because it gave me almost more counter surface to work with. So I think that they both work fine. It's just with electric, you have to compensate a little bit more for how fast or slow it responds to you changing the temperature. Okay, so looking like it's starting to sizzle. Our onion in. And onion, you know, cooks a little bit slower. I don't like the garlic to burn, so I'm going to put the onion. And then some of this zucchini. We'll see if I use it all. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave a little bit of the rest of it out. Now, Elise, my intern, actually prepared this ahead of time and made the fancy pictures that we have for it.
No, I need the zucchini.
Yeah, hers are round and beautiful, so I'm glad we used her pictures. These are my favorite cooking utensils, chopsticks. They're really easy to clean, and I have lots of them, and they don't take up much space in my kitchen. All right, so those are sauteing. We let them saute for, 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to add the garlic in there too. The other nice thing about cooking at home is I don't have to worry so much about whether my germs are getting in your food. I just have to worry about whether my germs are getting in my food. So we saute that in. While it's working in there, I'll just say that with these recipes, like I was talking with Lee earlier about using curry powder versus using curry paste, a lot of the ingredients can be interchanged. So if you don't have zucchini, you could use some other type of ingredient. You could probably use celery and carrots. You could even toss in some greens at the end. So what I would say is to be a little bit flexible. I tend to view recipes more as procedures. So this is a procedure in how we might make a curry dish, but you can switch out some of the ingredients depending on what you have around. All right, and I need to add the ginger, right? Nobody told me you forgot the ginger. All right, so 1 cube is 1 teaspoon. This calls for a tablespoon. So if you're not familiar, 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. We're gonna put all 3 in there.
I have a question about the ginger. Can you hear me?
Yep.
This is Karen. Where did you say you bought the yeah.
This
the
one
prepared
came
ginger?
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. Okay, that's what I thought.
I'll be honest, I haven't been to Trader Joe's since the whole pandemic started. I happen to keep this. So you can see how much I've used in whatever, 3 or 4 months time.
Yeah.
Now the garlic that comes in this pack, I finished up last week.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have heard good things about how the process of shopping at Trader Joe's. I just haven't wanted to try to figure out when there is no line.
Right. Okay.
So
Thank you.
that's just my thing. But yes, that's one of my favorite things at Trader Joe's is these little spice kits.
Me too. Okay.
Whoop, one escaped. So I grew up, my parents cooked at home. We ate a lot of food at home, but we weren't like, I wouldn't call us foodies. Can you see me? Oh yeah, there's something else on my screen. I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna ignore it as long as everything looks good to you. Okay, so our next step, get my recipe out here. Our next step is to add the chickpeas. So we have just a can. You can find chickpeas dried, and they're actually really easy. I find them one of the easiest dried beans to sort of cook. Typically, I take a pack of chickpeas and then put them in a crock pot. And it really only takes a couple of hours. They cook faster than the other types. So I just drained off the juice. You can rinse them if you want, but I just drained it off. Put that in there. Then, what do we have on here? So chickpeas. Then we're going to add the curry paste and the cumin and the red pepper. All right. That's funny because when I ordered this online to get it delivered, you know, the pictures always look bigger than they are. So this is the bottle. It's pretty small, but to be honest, I think that it's still going to last a while. And it doesn't fit in there. Let's see what we can do. Well, we can take a teaspoon and do it 3 times. So there you go. All right, so 3 teaspoons, which is the same as a tablespoon. And then we have cumin and red pepper flakes. So we're just going to put some of that in. Cumin's not really that spicy. You don't have to worry too much about it. Obviously, red pepper flakes are spicy. If you don't like it, don't put it in. If you only like a little spice, do a little. So Elisa's comments on the curry paste are that green curry paste might be spicier than red curry paste, but she didn't find it super spicy either way. So just be prepared for that. You can always start with less and then add more the next time you cook it. Okay, so we added our spices. And then we're going to pour in coconut milk and soy sauce. So that's a can of coconut milk. Now I'm curious, I went ahead and bought the light coconut milk. I've been wanting to do a comparison if you have the light or if you have the regular in terms of taste. I like the light, it has less saturated fat, but I still want a good flavor. So Elise, when you did it, did you use regular?
I used regular, yes.
Too bad we can't do a taste test.
Yeah. That was all they had at the store.
Okay. So yeah, this was Lowe's Foods. And then I usually buy my coconut milk from Trader Joe's, and I know they have a light version. Make sure if you get the whole version, sometimes the fat sticks to the edges, so shake it really well. This version is just not as thick. So my family, I grew up with a curry recipe that did use curry powder, Lee. So I do have some experience with the curry powder. If you use curry powder, I probably would have added it when the saute in the beginning. And then the soy sauce, it's a tablespoon of reduced sodium soy sauce.
Julia, it looks like your phone video went away.
Let's see. Oh, I think it got too hot.
Oh no.
It needs to cool down. So we'll let it cool down. And then we'll talk through the other recipes. So at this point, you just need to wait. So we'll let it simmer for 10 minutes. I don't think that we need to do any sort of, I wouldn't cover it because we kind of want some of the liquid to evaporate off and let it thicken up. And probably I would, stir it occasionally to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. I essentially have this one on, it's on high right now. If you could see it, it would not be boiling. So there you go. It is not boiling. We're gonna, let me set myself a timer for 8 minutes. It is starting to bubble around the edges, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so we're gonna pause on that recipe. We're gonna make our turmeric latte. So if you're doing that along with me, I want you to get all your ingredients out. So we talked about that before. It's milk. So I just have right here 2% cow's milk. We keep cow's milk and soy milk in my household. My kids one kid only likes soy milk. The other one drinks both. He just turned 3. So we switched from whole milk to 2% milk. It's just a lot of milk choices out there right now. So I try to keep it simple. And we keep the 2 of those in the house. So we'll have milk, vanilla extract. In here. In addition to Trader Joe's, I'm also a Costco shopper, hence the large bottle of vanilla. All right, and also a large bottle of maple syrup from Costco. All right, so we have maple syrup, vanilla extract. I need turmeric, cinnamon, and ground cloves if you want. I'm going to turn simmering down because it's simmering quite nicely. Come over to my spice cabinet for cinnamon. And where are my cloves? Oh, I see them. I have whole cloves. All right, I think I finished up all my ground cloves, so I'm going to use allspice and see how that adds to it. And then I need turmeric. Well, that's the key component of your golden latte is turmeric. And again, because I shop at Costco, my turmeric bottle does not fit in my little spice cabinet. So I'm gonna grab it out of my pantry. Okay, so I actually had to put it in a separate container because it is such a large amount of turmeric. So, all right, what we need is 3 cups of our milk. Now, I like to use a blender for this because it mixes the ingredients really, really well. All right, so 3 cups of milk. And I like the 3 cups because it makes it for 2 people. If you're doing it just for 1 person, you could probably save half of it. I think 3 cups of milk would be a lot to try to drink as your, beverage or snack. All right, so we have 3 cups of that. Where's my recipe? Here we go. We have a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Put that in there. We have, it says 1/2 to 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and this is just going to be your preference. So you're going to need to figure out what you want. And so what I would do is start maybe with a little bit less, and then you can have more, add more later, of course. So I'm going to do a half. Well, that ended up being more like a whole. And then we'll use a half a teaspoon of ground turmeric. And I'll tell you that I made this recipe before I used a whole teaspoon, and I thought it was too strong. I just could not drink the whole thing. I thought it took too much. So what we're going to do is do a half a teaspoon. Put it in there. Turmeric, we talked about in our webinar about herbs and spices. It's just another herb that can add plants to your day, and it gives your latte the golden color. So that's why we call it a golden latte. And then cinnamon, which is always delicious. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon. As much as possible, I try to use the same spoons. All right. We put those in. And then the pinch of ground cloves. So since I'm out of ground cloves, I'm going to try a little bit of allspice. It smells good to me. So we're going to put some of that in there. All right. I think that's it. It's going to be loud. That's your warning. So we'll turn it on, and you don't have to use a blender on this. You could just whisk it together and put it in a pot. But what I was reading, and just if you blend it up, it just stays together better. And the point of putting herbs and spices in our drinks is that we would ingest them, and if it sinks to the bottom, you don't get to drink it very well. So I find the blender just helps to mix it in really, really well. First of all, you got to plug in your blender. All right, here we go. Now, I don't know if any of you, if you're using anything too fatty and you blend it too much, you're gonna make butter, right? Turmeric golden butter. So that's pretty much it. And then we'll put it in a mug. I have a lot of mugs. I don't know what it is about mugs in my family, but we have lots and lots of mugs. So what I like to do is I put it in my mug. Smells delicious. And then I just heat mine up in the microwave. And I find that a minute for a cup, well, it's a cup and a half. I'll probably put it in for 120, a minute and 20 seconds. And the other option you have is to do this all on the stove in a pot. You can pour it all in, stir it up really well, and just watch it. And then it would be hot. The nice thing about doing it in the blender also is if you're not going to consume it all at once, it's not getting hot before you have to use it.
Julie, is the spices webinar on your website yet?
It's not on the website yet, but it is on, it's on my Facebook page. You can watch it. It's recorded there. And I think it's already up on YouTube. It's on YouTube. So if you find it, you can find it on my YouTube channel or on the Facebook page. And it will be on the website. We'll probably go ahead and put links to this class as well as the webinar in the next post.
What do you mean YouTube channel?
If you go to YouTube and search for Julie Lanford, cancer dietitian, you'll find my channel, and there's all kinds of different videos that we've done.
Okay, thank you.
If you also go to Cancer Services website, which is cancerservicesonline.org, and you go to news, in the most recent news post, I've linked it in there as well. Actually, I think you can even just watch it on that page if you want to. Anyway, yeah, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe.
Thank you. I will.
I can always use more subscribers. All right, so basically, let me see if my phone can turn back on now. Let me try to join back in so you can see. One time, I did a cooking class. It was in real life. I can't remember. Lee, I think this is before your time. But anyway, we were in our conference room at Cancer Services, and we had like an Apple TV broadcasting to a screen that we had in the room. It was like an Instant Pot class. And we were showing, even live, we were showing with our camera. I had an intern with me. All right, let's see if we can start the video on this one. Is it showing? Elise, can you see that one? I'm trying to see if it showed up on our list here. I would bring the computer over for you guys, but yeah, do you see it?
I don't see. Oh, yes,
Okay.
I see it now.
I'm on the very bottom of the list of attendees.
Yeah, let me go find that. Oop. There we go.
All right, so can you
There
see
we
it?
go.
Yes, we can see it.
Very nicely thickened up. So what we're gonna do is turn off the heat and let it cool down, and then we'll add our lime. And if I had cilantro, I'd add that too. I had cilantro. I get a farm box once a week, and it was in my box, but I made like a corn and black bean salsa over the weekend and used all my cilantro. But it was delicious, and this would be a really fun dish to add cilantro to. Okay, I'm gonna set this down for a minute. I don't have enough hands. So with the limes, to get them juicy, you can rub them on your cutting board, or you can rub them between your hands or whatever. But all you need is to just cut it in half and squeeze it in there. It calls for 1 lime. So that's what we're going to use. But limes and lemons are really great for adding flavor. We have not added any salt to this recipe. So I don't know. Elise, when you made it, did you add salt? Or was it?
No, I didn't.
It was
I didn't.
flavorful enough.
Mhm.
So that's what we talked about in our webinar too, was using herbs and spices really helps to give flavor that your taste buds like without having to use a lot of salt. I mean, we're going to get a little bit of sodium and salt from the canned beans, so that's actually helpful in the recipe that you don't have to add even more. And then what you would do is you'll take this and just serve it over some rice. Again, I didn't quite have myself together in time to have my rice. But let me get out. You know, as any good chef would do, I have to taste it on camera. Although, it's very steamy. So you can see it's kind of burning hot. It smells amazing though. It's like that coconut milk. Really, really makes it delicious. It's really good. It's like, even with the red peppers, I kind of tried to get liberal with the red peppers. It's just a little bit spicy to me. I don't think the curry powder or the curry paste is super spicy. So I agree with Elise on that one. And I taste the lime. I love the lime flavor of it. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy the recipe too. And on rice would be awesome because it helps to like get the extra liquid in it. Lee, are you cooking along? I know she was from the beginning. I'm curious how hers turned out. And then I have my golden latte here. Let's see. There you go. You can see it there in the camera.
Yeah.
It's in the picture that I took from the last time I made it where I used a whole teaspoon. It's definitely less yellow.
Oh, not good. What? What she was telling me. Yeah. All right.
I think it's really, really good, the latte. I have a friend who said that she's tried it before and it was not good. So what's that?
It's definitely different from anything I've had.
The latte?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've ordered them from coffee shops before. You know, if you're used to lattes, which are just, there's no sweeteners in them, it's just the flavor of milk. I think that the sweetness of the maple syrup is enough. And then, but yes, there's that spicy flavor from turmeric that's a little bit of a taste that you have to get used to. But the other thing is that if you like chai lattes, those are perfectly fine too. So like my friend who said that she just thought it was disgusting when she had it, I told her, if you like a chai latte, there's plenty of spices and herbs. And who came to my class? I think Lee, you were there, probably a couple others.
Yeah.
We did a chai latte and we actually made it in a crock pot so you could do it for like entertaining, you know, when the day comes when we get to entertain again. But it was around the holidays and we made a crock pot full and you used, it was tea powder that you could just mix in and cinnamon and different herbs and spices. And I thought it was really good. And a lot of people didn't even mind the version that didn't have any added sweeteners in it. So you don't have to like the golden latte, but it is a way to get more plants and herbs into your day.
Leah, is it necessary to add black pepper? Is it a science with turmeric and a black pepper?
Yeah, so we talked about it on our webinar. So with turmeric, I have heard that as well. I don't know how much data there is behind that. I was not really interested in putting black pepper in my latte. But I think in our recipe for chai, it did have black pepper in it. So I don't know. That's what they say. I think that you still get plenty of benefit from the herbs even without the black pepper. So that's sort of up to you.
Okay.
What other questions? What time is it? Look, we made a meal in like 40 minutes while I was talking, you know. So I think that this is a really great recipe. It's really simple and it's quick. And that's my favorite kind of recipe, to be honest. I don't like to slave away in the kitchen. I have a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old, so I used to love to spend a lot of time cooking, and it's like, not fun anymore. I just need the food to be ready. So that's why I like this recipe.
Did you call that guy?
All right, I think that's it for today's class. We have some classes coming up in July and in August. Our July class for local people, we're gonna cook a recipe out of the Eating Well Through Cancer cookbook. So if you are local and you don't have that cookbook, we'll have it available for you to do a front porch pickup at Cancer Services to get a copy of the cookbook. So be sure that you watch out for those links. We'll be creating those in the next week or two. And our webinar for July is on plant-based diets for cancer survivors. And then, our webinar for August will be on August 12th. And it's gonna be on meal planning tips and tricks. It's also part of our Survivors Week celebration. So typically we have a National Cancer Survivors Day celebration in Winston-Salem, and it's on the first Saturday in June. Well, everything's getting switched around this year. So we're actually doing a Survivors Week celebration, and it's the second week in August. And so the nutrition webinar will be part of that. And so I encourage you to sign up for all of our webinars that week around cancer survivorship. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then I can't remember what our cooking class is. I think our cooking class in August is like meals for two types of things. So we're very excited.
We have one more question. When patients ask about how much turmeric can they take in a day, what is your recommendation?
Well, I would not take it like in pill form. So that's typically my recommendation. I mean, how much turmeric can one add to their food intake? That would be the question. So I typically tell people that we don't need too much. And so whatever they feel like adding to their food, if they want to have a turmeric latte and have a curry and all of that, whatever they can fit in. Some people add turmeric to like their scrambled eggs and things like that. I think all of that's fine, but I would stay away from pill form of turmeric. I just don't think there's much benefit there. Good question. In our herbs webinar, we mentioned that some of the research that's been touted by people around turmeric was actually research that had errors and was retracted. And so that's another thing to really pay attention to, is that there was one particular researcher who was with, I believe he was with MD Anderson, and a lot of his data was sort of fabricated, and so many of his studies have been retracted. So it's important to kind of, always check the sources when you've heard things. Any other questions coming through?
I think that was the last one. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Elise, for being our hostess for the cooking class. And thank all of you for joining us. And I would love to see the pictures when you make the recipe. We will send an email out to all of you who signed on today with the full recipe and links, and to make sure that you have what you need. But if you have questions, let us know. And please, please send me pictures of the recipe when you make it, because that always makes me happy. Makes me feel like, oh, good, I taught you something instead of I just made you some food.
Thank you.
All right, take care.